Hi, Mr. Gregory.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Heather. Come on in, take a seat. So glad you can make it in today.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I just wanted to go ahead and let you know that everything that we talk about in here today is completely confidential, unless you plan on hurting yourself or others, and that's just to protect the safety of you and the people around you.
Okay.
And I just want to let you know what we're going to be doing today. So since today is our initial assessment, we're just going to spend some time together and allow me to get to know you a little bit more to see how we'll move forward in the future.
Okay.
So I have some basic paperwork that I'm going to fill out. I'm going to be completely listening to you as we go. So if you see me jotting notes, it's just so I can remember these things in the future so I can better serve you. But just know that I am completely listening to you when you speak. Yeah, let's see. All right. Perfect. All right. So, and your full name is Dax Gregory, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. And what's your date of birth?
9/22/1948.
Perfect. Just want to make sure I have that correctly written down. All right, Mr. Gregory, do you prefer to be called Mr. Gregory or Dax?
Whichever
Okay.
you think.
Okay, perfect. All right, Mr. Gregory, can you tell me a little bit about what brings you in today?
Well, this is kind of hard for me to talk about, but I've gone through a lot recently, and I'll be completely honest with you, straightforward. I've in the past struggled a little bit with some substance misuse, and so I feel like maybe I might want to use again. And so that's why I'm coming to you today, is to see if maybe I can get some help in working through these feelings and things that I'm having.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with me. I know it's hard to be honest. I really appreciate your vulnerability in this room today. Okay, Mr. Gregory, do you live in a house? Do you rent it? Do you own it?
Right now, I am renting.
Okay. Perfect. All right, and do you live with anybody else in your home?
No, it's just me.
All righty. And do you have any family members that you're in touch with or significant in your life?
I have a brother.
Okay. And what's his name?
Sam.
Sam. Okay. And do you and Sam keep in touch?
Not. We used to keep in touch, but not as much recently.
Okay. Does he live locally?
He does.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right, Mr. Gregory, do you have a significant other or a partner at this time?
Well, I am seeing someone, yeah.
Okay. All right. And what's their name?
Marisa.
Melissa. Okay. How long have you been with Melissa?
About 2 years.
2 years? Okay. And what's that relationship like?
It's good. I mean, it's like every relationship. I mean, it has its ups and its downs, but I would say overall, we're okay. Other than her having a problem recently with my wanting to use, and I've had a lot of anger towards her. I just don't like her like telling me what to do, and telling me I can't do something.
Sure.
Because I'm my own person, and
sure.
At the end of the day, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and so.
Right. Did she encourage you to come here today?
She did. Yeah.
Okay. And how did that feel?
I mean, I knew that I needed to come see someone, but I didn't like the fact that she told me that I needed to come see someone.
Okay. So would you say in a way that you're doing this for her?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And have you been previously married, or did you have any relationships before Melissa that were significant?
I had a really strong relationship with my parents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were pretty highly involved in my life, and they were important to me.
Yeah. Yeah, so what was it like growing up with them?
I was born in Puerto Rico, and so I don't know how much you know about the culture and, the area that we were living in. There was a lot of violence and drug-related crimes and stuff like that. And so, living in a situation like that makes you become strong.
Yeah.
In being with your family and relying on your family and so I would say, me and my parents had a really good relationship based off, some of the circumstances that we were in.
So, it might be safe to say that they wanted to come here to get you away from the violence that was happening in Puerto Rico.
And more opportunity.
Yes. And what was your relationship like with them as you grew up in the United States and got older?
They were still really involved with me and everything, and they really supported me through college and giving me a good foundation, and my parents were great. But once I started to use, it was that things changed. Our relationship really went downhill from there.
Okay. Yeah.
And things were just not the same.
Okay. Could you tell me a little bit about when your use started?
I would say it's probably started. So I've been clean for 2 years now.
Okay, that's great.
So it started, I guess, when I was maybe in my 20s.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing that with me. I know it's challenging to have to talk about that.
Right.
So I know you said that you were really close with your parents. Are they still in your life?
They are not.
Okay.
My parents, they passed away about 5 years ago.
Okay. And what was that like for you when they passed?
It was hard because our relationship was not good at the time. And
Yeah. That makes sense. And I know you said you have your brother and you have Melissa. Would you say that you feel supported by them, or are there other support systems that you have in the community, like maybe like a church that you attend, something like that?
Yeah, I'm religious.
Okay.
I guess that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
I go to a Baptist church.
Okay. Wonderful. And would you say that you have some strong relationships that you've built at church?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah, like some friendships.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you can turn to the church for support, like emotional support?
I wouldn't say the church so much as I would say my girlfriend.
Okay. Yeah. Is there anyone else in your life that you feel comfortable talking about your past use or the death of your parents?
I would say mostly just her. Well, I do have a friend who lives in Puerto Rico.
Okay. Yeah.
And we haven't talked in a while, but I definitely think maybe he could be someone I could talk to.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
But my brother, we don't. Like I said, we haven't talked in a while, and
Okay.
I don't feel like he would be someone that I could talk to about this, because that's the reason that we don't talk, is due to
Okay.
my past.
So you would say that's when maybe the strength of your relationship weakened is when you were using.
Yes.
Okay. And I wanted to go back to when you were talking about being born in Puerto Rico and some of the violence that your parents maybe experienced and how they wanted to remove you from that situation. And just curious, what was it like being born in another country and then being raised in the United States?
Oh, well, it's completely different.
Yeah.
As far as culture, and when I came here, or my parents, when they brought me here, they didn't know anyone, and so finding a community and finding people that they could connect with and make us feel comfortable here
Definitely.
was important.
Yeah. Do you feel like your parents found a community?
I do. I mean, I think they found it through the church.
Mm-hmm. So you were raised going to church growing up?
Yes.
You went to church? Okay. And that's something that sort of stayed consistent throughout your lifetime, attending the church?
I mean, there have been periods, I'm not a regular attender to church, but, I go when I can.
Yeah.
And of course, when I was using, I wasn't going because I was preoccupied with other things.
Sure. And then circling back to Melissa, do you feel like there are any, physical or emotional barriers to your romantic life with her?
I feel like definitely now emotionally there is.
Okay.
Just because, like I said, like I don't really like her telling me what to do. I'm kind of, angry.
Yes.
And I see myself, lashing out, to her, and it's, starting to like impact me.
Sure.
In a lot of different ways.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for sharing that with me. Again, I know these aren't easy questions to be asked, especially first time you're meeting someone. Can you tell me a little bit about your education?
Yeah, so I graduated with a bachelor's degree. And, while I was in college, I played soccer, and that was like a part of my life. I went on a scholarship, and my parents, they never really had a lot of money, and so that gave me an avenue to go and go to college and receive an education and do that for free. And so soccer was always something that was really important in my life, and
definitely
has always been something that's kind of been a stress reliever for me.
Sure. Wow, that's a huge accomplishment. Where'd you go to school?
Western.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. It's really something to be proud of. Do you still like to play soccer?
I do. I haven't in a really long time. I actually, my senior year, I got a ACL injury, and that prevented me from continuing throughout my senior year. And I had to have a pretty extensive surgery for that, and then I had physical therapy, following, and that was really hard for me because I no longer had that avenue.
Yeah.
To release stress, and and I will say, I was on a lot of medication then, and I think, that's kind of when the use started.
Okay. And was the medication prescribed for pain?
It was.
At that point?
It was prescribed for pain, but it's a really like extensive surgery, and there's a lot that goes into it, and I was in a lot of pain. I was just in so much pain, and I found myself taking more.
Right. So I bet there was kind of like a grieving process when you had to quit playing soccer.
Yes.
It was so important to you. Yeah.
And it still is, because I'm not able to play like I used to, and I had to miss my whole senior season. And
right. Definitely. Okay. Do you have any barriers to learning that might be helpful for me to know about, just so I can provide you with any additional services if needed? No? Okay. Alrighty. And then can you tell me a little bit about employment? Are you currently working or retired, or?
I am not currently working.
Okay. All right. And when was the last time you did work?
About a month ago, I had a job.
Okay. And would you mind telling me why you no longer work there?
Yeah, just because I like I said, I've just been so aggravated, and like I've found myself getting, really angry, and I've lashed out at, coworkers and my boss and things like that, and
yeah. And has this sort of been like a pattern, you would say?
I mean, yeah, I would say so. I'd say this has definitely been something that's been going on for a while.
Okay.
And I think it just escalated.
Okay. Are you looking to be reemployed, or receive disability services or unemployment?
I think right now I'm okay. And where I am. Maybe later on in the future, that might be something I'm interested in, is getting a job. But
right
now I'm just kind of trying to figure out what's going on with me.
Sure. Like, this is your number one priority. And, well, if you end up needing some services for employment, that's something we can talk about, and I can make some referrals to folks who specialize in that.
That's great.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and so I know you said you got, a full ride to school. So what did employment look like for you maybe a couple years ago, or over the span of your life? Some different interests or different skills that you've acquired along the way?
Do you mean like what other jobs have I had?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
So like I said, I got a bachelor's degree in education, so I worked in the school system for a while, and then from there, I kind of, I kept that job for a long time, and then I retired out of that, and then I
Okay.
did some substituting,
Yep.
and then decided to take up again a part-time teaching job
Okay.
after.
Yeah. What did you teach when you worked in the school system?
English.
Cool.
High school English.
What was that like?
It was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those kids can be really, they speak their mind.
Oh, I bet they do. I believe that.
They are not afraid to speak their mind.
Right. Right. Okay. Do you miss working in the school system?
Like I said, I just recently, stopped
Right.
working there because, I was working part-time, but, I think I will.
Right. Maybe
Because,
not quite yet.
I was retired and then I did some substitute teaching and then I came back. So I think it's definitely a passion of mine.
Sure. Definitely. Definitely. So this was some of your passion pertaining to your professional work. Do you have any hobbies or things that you like to do that maybe feel like a stress relief? I know you mentioned soccer.
Right.
Is there anything else that you like to do?
Well, I would definitely say, just spending time with Melissa
Yeah.
is important, because like I said, I can't play soccer like I used to. And so, it's hard for me to get out there and do it, especially since, I had the surgery, a long time ago. And
Sure.
I'm getting old too. So that's always, it always plays a huge factor in
Sure.
my mobility and what I'm able to do. But
yeah. Okay. What are some things that you and Melissa like to do together?
Well, she likes to cook, and so that's something that we do together.
Mm-hmm.
She'll pick out a recipe, and we'll make that together.
Yeah. That sounds fun. Okay. All right. So, have you ever received mental health treatment in the past?
I have not.
Okay. Alrighty. And have you ever been hospitalized for psychiatric reasons?
I have not.
None. Okay. And have you ever received, maybe any current diagnoses? Maybe, I know you said you haven't received specifically mental health treatment, but maybe if, your primary care doctor might have mentioned something to you, anything like that?
No, not anything other than, just normal things like, high blood pressure or something.
Okay.
Normal for somebody my age.
Right.
Or maybe not necessarily normal, but
sure.
It comes with age. And
okay. So no mental health
no.
Diagnoses. Okay. So you said high blood pressure. Do you take medication?
I do.
Okay. Do you happen to know the name of it?
I do.
Okay.
I take amlodipine.
Okay. Do you mind spelling that for me? If you don't know, I can totally look it up later.
Yeah, I have no idea.
That's no problem. I know, I'm like, some of these medication names are really hard to spell. No worries. Anything else?
Just cholesterol.
Okay. And do you take medication for that as well?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And are these prescribed by like a primary care physician?
They are.
Okay. And do you receive routine care from this doctor?
I haven't been in a while.
Okay.
Just because, whenever this is the same doctor that I've had for a long time, and so, whenever I was going through, the substance issue, I was actually actually ended up in jail for a little while. And, ever since, but anyways, to say, my doctor kind of treats me different and prescribing me things. And
Okay.
so I don't go regularly as much as I should.
Okay. So you say that you noticed a shift in the way that he treats you once he found out that you went to jail.
Right, yeah, and it just makes me really angry.
Sure. You kind of feel some judgment from him.
Right, yeah.
Sure. So do you mind telling me a little bit about, you mentioned that you had gone to jail. Do you mind telling me a little bit about maybe what led up to that?
Well, at the time, my parents were still alive at the time, and our relationship was not good because I was using, and that not having that support through that time was hard.
Sure.
And so I was basically just getting the medication anywhere I could. Like at first it led to me getting things prescribed from my doctor, and then it led to me getting things from friends, medicine from friends. And then my parents found out about that, and they weren't happy about that. And then then it led to me buying it off the street. So, and then they found out about that, and they kicked me out, and I lost my house and my car. And the support from my parents. And so, just kind of created a downward spiral for me from there. So,
Sure.
And that lasted for about 10 years. The spiral did.
Okay. And how long were you in jail for?
2 years.
Okay. And what was that experience like?
It was hard, but
Yeah.
you learn to adapt in certain situations. And I did make some good friends and people that I feel like are good. Even though they're there, I feel like they have good intentions and
Yeah, of course.
things like that.
You sound like you're really resilient. So you kind of had to be.
Yeah.
And what was it like when you got out of jail?
Well, before I got out of jail, I was actually in a substance group.
Oh, when you were in jail?
Yes, yeah. So
Okay.
I was, doing that weekly, trying to get my life back on track. And then once I got out, that kind of set me up, for success in a way, because, I was clean. And then.
Okay. And so, just want to make sure I get this correct. So you've maintained sobriety since you were released from jail?
I have definitely used.
Okay.
Occasionally, but not in excess.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Alrighty. And do you have any more pending charges, or was all that taken care of?
That was all taken care of.
Okay.
I did my time. And
okay. So. Alrighty. Okay.
I actually went to jail for aggravated assault and resisting arrest. So.
Okay. So I know that was probably hard for you.
Yeah.
To tell me that. Not something that's really easy to share with anybody. So you mentioned it was aggravated assault, and earlier I noted that you mentioned, feeling some anger towards coworkers, feeling some anger towards Melissa. Would you say that that's something that you've kind of dealt with on and off maybe for quite some time?
Yes.
Okay.
I would definitely say the anger has been there, probably since my parents passed away. And it was so sudden, And then, I never got to patch up that relationship, so it's just caused a lot of regret and
Sure. Yeah. Okay. And would you say that anger gets worse when you are intoxicated using substances, or does it maybe ease it, make it a little better?
I think it just depends on where my mind is before I use, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Like if I am angry before, then I'm gonna be angry when I'm using. If I'm not, then
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I know we've definitely sort of touched on this and we talked around it a little bit, but if you feel comfortable with it, I'd like to just ask a couple more questions about alcohol and drug use,
okay.
just so I can make sure I'm getting everything correctly so I can best serve you moving forward.
Okay.
So in the past year, have you abused any substances, prescription drugs, alcohol?
No, not in the past year. I've just had these feelings of, maybe wanting to do that as a relief.
Sure.
I mean, it's just the anger and everything is just really, starting to add up. I mean, even though my parents passed away in this, car accident 5 years ago, it's too much for me to handle.
Sure.
And then on top of that, my girlfriend's like trying to tell me what to do, and it's just, it's only making things worse.
Sure. Yeah, I've heard you mention her trying to tell you what to do a couple of times. Does it feel controlling?
I would say yes, but at the same time, I feel like, if it wasn't for me, I feel like overall we have a good relationship. I think it's just her being protective.
Sure.
And not wanting me to put myself in that situation. And so, I don't feel that her intentions are bad or that she's trying to be controlling. Yeah. It's just kind of how the situation is.
Sure. Would you say it's out of love then? That maybe?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. So, have you ever used any IV drugs? No. Okay. And so what substances have you used?
I've used pills and opiates and.
Okay. And when was the first time you used an opiate?
That would have been my sophomore year of college.
Okay. And so was that prior to the ACL surgery or afterwards?
That was during the ACL.
Okay. Alrighty. And when would you say is the last time you've used a substance, roughly?
I would say like 2 years ago.
Okay. Alrighty. And when you were taking pills, opiates, how often were you using them?
I would say like every day.
Okay.
I was purchasing them from, dealers, and, I was getting them from friends. And
Yep. Okay. Alrighty. And would you said it kind of spiraled once your parents passed away, or do you feel like it spiraled before that?
Oh, yeah, it spiraled before.
Okay.
Yeah, it spiraled before my parents passed.
Okay.
When I was going through that injury, I just said, I was in so much pain, and, it was just hard for me to manage that. And then on top of that, I didn't have soccer anymore, and, I knew I wasn't going to be able to play the same. And
Sure. Definitely. Okay. And I know you mentioned that you attended a substance use group when you were in jail. Is that the only time that you've received any substance use treatment?
Yes.
Okay. And how was that when you were part of that group?
Like I said, I feel like I made good friends.
Okay.
In jail, good people, and I feel like I was able to confide in them through that group.
Okay.
I feel like it was beneficial.
Mm-hmm. So those friends that you made in jail were part of that group? Okay. Yeah, so it sounds like it was maybe a supportive environment. Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Have you ever had any other addictions, such as maybe a sex addiction, gambling, anything else? No? Okay. Alrighty. And let's see if there's anything else too. So currently, are you having any problems that you've noticed, like with your diet, since you've maybe had some of this anger resurfacing? Has it changed the way you've been eating?
I would say, I guess you could say I'm eating a lot less.
Okay. Okay. And have you been feeling depressed or sad?
No, just definitely just angry, and just triggered, off of,
Sure.
the grief and the loss of my parents and the guilt associated with that, kind of like I mentioned before.
Sure. And so some bereavement issues, it sounds like. And have you ever talked to anybody in the past? Are you able to talk to Melissa about the grief that you're experiencing? No. Okay. So this is sort of the first time that you're processing.
Right.
Okay. And are you noticing any anxiety? No. Okay. And traumatic stress. Would you say that the death of your parents, would you identify that as a traumatic event in your life?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely, because it was, sudden and unexpected.
Sure.
You just don't expect your parents to be driving down the freeway, and you lose both of them at the same time.
Absolutely.
Just very sudden, and just took everyone, me and my brother, by shock.
Were you in the car with them, you and your brother, when they passed?
I was not.
Okay. And is there anything, other moments or events in your life that you would consider traumatic that you've gone through?
Definitely my time in jail.
Okay.
Because I feel like that was a disappointment to my parents. And I would never want to disappoint them because, like I said, they've supported me and have been there for me, and
Yeah. Definitely. Okay. And I know you definitely expressed that you're feeling anger, and you have a history of aggravated assault. Have there been any other episodes of aggression or violence?
Not acted upon, but I have felt that I could possibly be angry, and not on someone. I wouldn't do that, but
Okay.
just the thoughts.
Sure. Okay. Have you noticed any attention issues? Like it's hard to focus on tasks that you're trying to complete?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I think that was part of why. Besides just the lashing out, work and everything. I think that had the attention
Okay.
fell into that category as well.
Sure. Okay. And have you noticed any impulsiveness recently? No? Okay. And any disturbed reality contact, like maybe a situation where you're not sure if it feels real or not? No? Okay. Any mood swings?
Nothing other than, just sometimes I get angry,
Yeah. And does that feel like it comes on suddenly or is it sort of built up?
I think it's more sudden.
Okay. So
it just depends on the moment, and if
Sure.
I start thinking about things, that have happened, then that triggers the anger, and then once the anger is triggered, that makes me want to seek towards the substance or using again.
Okay. So would you say that you have outlashes of anger? Okay. Okay. And I know we've talked about your history of substance use, and you say you've been sober for about 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you're feeling some of those triggers to use again that get brought on, those feelings when you're feeling angry, thinking about the grief of your parents, and maybe Melissa being a little, what feels like controlling sometimes.
Right.
Okay. Any sleep problems?
No.
No? Okay. Is there anything, going on, socially that's stressing you out? Maybe I know you mentioned you and your brother aren't speaking at the time. Does that cause you distress?
Sometimes, but me and my brother's relationship, he wasn't there for me in a time when I probably needed someone to be there for me, so I just
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't a support person and you needed one.
Right.
Sure. Are there any medical issues that feel important to address right now? No? Okay. You feel like your blood pressure and cholesterol is under control with the medication?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Let's see. Do you feel like there are any pieces of support that you need outside of here? Do you feel like maybe you need a referral for physical therapy from your primary care physician for your knee? Just any other issues that maybe aren't being addressed and might make you feel better overall?
Like physical or
like I was saying, so like physical therapy, or if you wanted to talk to somebody about employment, stuff like that.
maybe possibly talking to someone about employment, but not right now. Maybe
Right.
a little bit later.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make a note of that so we can revisit that if we need to. Okay. Alrighty. And sort of just to summarize, like, how are you feeling right now when you came in here today?
When I came in here today, I was, had a lot of anger, and my girlfriend, wanted me to be here and kind of, forcing me to be here. But, now, that I've talked, I do feel a little more settled.
Okay.
And before I came in here, I was wanting to use before I came in here.
Okay.
But like I said, I feel a little bit more at ease now.
Okay. So on a scale of maybe 1 to 10, how strong is your urge to use right now?
I would say it's like an 8.
An 8. Okay. Alrighty. So based on what we've talked about today and some of the things that you shared with me, I think it would be beneficial if we could meet once a week, maybe over the next couple of months. Is that something that you feel like you'd be willing to do?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. And so I think in here we could, definitely work on the grief that you're feeling. We could process your relationship with your parents and all the different phases that relationship took. Like you said, the ups and the downs, and maybe we could talk about some things with your brother and Melissa. And based on what you told me about some of your previous substance use and sort of where you're at with feeling triggered to use again, and kind of being at that 8 on the 1 to 10 about how triggered you feel to use. I feel like it would be helpful if we could seek out some substance use counseling. That is something that I usually refer out for, just because there are folks who specialize in this and they'd be better suited.
Okay.
Does that feel like something you would be open to considering?
I think so, definitely, because like I said before, whenever I was in prison, it I felt like I definitely benefited from the relationships I made there, and knowing that I'm not going through this by myself. So.
Yes, absolutely. So what I will do for you before we leave is I will give you the name of some folks who are really wonderful substance use counselors, and I feel like would probably be a really good fit for you. And I can also jot down some of the names of some support groups. There's Alcoholics Anonymous, and have you heard of Narcotics Anonymous, NA? Okay, so it's also a 12-step program, really similar to Alcoholics Anonymous, but it's for substances specifically instead of alcohol, but functions very similarly and might offer some of those same benefits that you got out of your substance use group in jail, just like other folks that have walked similar paths, and that feeling that you're not alone, safe space to confide, all of those sorts of things. I've found that can be really helpful for clients. So would you want me to jot some of those down for you?
Please.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, I guess we can go ahead and schedule for next week, and then I will send you on your way with some of those recommendations.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for coming in today, Mr. Gregory.
Yeah, thank you.
It was really wonderful to meet you. All right, hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next week, okay? Bye.